A warm welcome to A Nurse's Lift to Work with Tina and Kate, coaching podcast by two healthcare professionals. We are friends, we are nurses, master NLP coaches, hypnotherapists, parents and business owners. We are busy people juggling many things just like you.
You are in for a treat. We will chat about informal coaching tips, coping strategies, and how to effectively change your mindset and have some fun along the way. So, hop on board with us for A Nurse's Lift to Work.
Hello everyone, welcome to A Nurse's Lift to Work. I'm Kate.
And I'm Tina.
And today we are talking about, drumroll, Tina, go on.
We are talking about those kind of transitions that you make emotionally to the responsibilities of being a registered nurse when you're newly qualified, particularly, but maybe this might also apply if you've had a bit of an absence from work, maybe you've had maternity leave and returning or something of that nature. So what kind of things are relevant then, Kate?
Well, I think to start with, we're not, just to make it clear, we're not talking about the tasks, the jobs, the things that you already know that you will be doing when you move from student to practitioner, because you will have done them already. You will have done the drug rounds, you will have done the patient care, you will have done the handovers. So this is the shift, the mental shift for you as you take on that responsibility and everything that entails. So managing yourself as an independent practitioner, which I think always brings along some concerns, doesn't it? Because it's always nice to have somebody to hold your hand, and then all of a sudden you're there and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, I always feel it's like that feeling of learning to drive a car, always being with somebody else sat beside you, and then you pass and you're very excited and you get your own car, and then it's those first few times on the road on your own, you realize like it actually is you and there's no one else in the car, and it's a similar feeling. I'm going to put something in the show notes for our listeners, which is an article link from a newly registered nurse that's from the Nursing Times, and she's called Joy O'Gorman, and she talks about some fantastic things. And there's a lovely quote in her article. And one of the things that she says, Joy, is my October newly qualified self would have been, I feel out of my depth, I feel put upon, thrown in the deep end, you know, some of these phrases that we hear from colleagues who are newly qualified. But my January self feels quite different. And she's kind of recognizing that she's making that mindset change. She is learning how to prioritize what she does. And also this bit about remembering the power of those interactions you have with patients and the difference you're making when the 12 hours feels frazzly, or just taking those moments out of the goodness that you've done and the influence that you've had and the difference that you've made, switching to thinking about that instead of focusing heavily on what you didn't do, what you felt you couldn't do. So you can see her kind of making that, and I'll just quote this quote from her: allowing myself to be vulnerable and open about those rocky moments was a vital part of my transition.
Yeah. And some of it, you know, it's all about perception, isn't it? Because it's with anything, we think we know what it's going to be like, but actually what we think and the reality can be two completely different things. And if they don't match up, all of a sudden we've got this huge gap it's almost like a self-inflicted or
Mm,
self-concocted gap, isn't it? Because we think it's going to be one thing, and when the reality is different, we're
mm.
left thinking, what is going on? So if you are newly qualified or if you are just about to qualify, maybe go in with no expectations at all, or just little ones. I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna learn.
And I think I'd add to what you said along the lines of if you're going to have any expectations, let them be about things like, I'm going to learn how to be really flexible.
Mm,
And I'm going to learn how I have to adjust. And I need to grasp that quickly.
yeah,
So
I'm
these
gonna
are the
learn.
bits.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn what works for me. I'm
Hmm.
going to learn how I work best. So,
Yes.
and it's a great way of thinking, isn't it? Because we all do things differently. You know that already from the many people that you will have worked with, throughout training, throughout your career. So that's a great thing, learning what works for you.
Yeah. And I had a lesson like this in my early career because I was on a very busy unit, like many, many people will be. And I had a lot of activity going on and coordination of activity. And I felt I became the blood taking nurse, the coordinator of activity and appointments, the organising of breaks. And I didn't feel like I was getting really close to any patient care.
Mm,
And I was delegating a lot of that. And that was kind of fine in one way, but I was Tina, was missing some patient interaction and also getting a bit of a guilt feeling when that conversation, which goes along the lines of the registered nurse haven't helped the healthcare assistants with any care today. So I thought, you know what? I need to I need to stop thinking I need to be in a bay with 6+ patients helping alongside the team. And I maybe just need to say, I'll look after one.
mm,
And I just used to try and give myself one, sometimes complex person to just start to do a little bit more with. And even that just made me feel better because I could take my skill to it. I would do it along the lines of, let's do it together for juniors. Just I had to create something that made me feel okay along the lines of what I thought was good nursing for me.
mm. Yeah. And it's interesting as well to when you speak to, and listeners, you can do this as well when you speak to colleagues is find out what their experiences were, how they found it differed from student to practitioner because a lot of stuff changes, but a lot of stuff stays the same.
Mm.
And it's remembering that you know what you're doing. It's just the responsibility and that emotional responsibility that comes with it.
And this idea that you are the first one to be questioning your own ability to prioritize care and deal with the business around you, you won't be the first and you won't be the last. It's
No,
just not something we say out loud. We don't say
no.
out loud, oh, this is where this overwhelming feeling is coming from. I don't know, am I doing this bit right? This prioritization bit. It's not really the technical skills that worry most nurses. Some of them get a bit worried about learning a new technical skill, but most of us can learn that. But it's that kind of invisible stuff around. Am I prioritizing right? Am I picking up the right issues and passing them on? But it will
Have I missed
come.
something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So things to remember when it comes to your emotions, they can be fueled by whatever's going on around you as well.
Mm.
So keeping up, if you are able to, those boundaries, those barriers to protect your emotions from everybody else's and from overspilling. Because that can be quite a challenge, can't it? Especially when you're in a high emotive situation. Maybe it's end of life, maybe it's something that you haven't come across before. Yeah.
And
What else?
yeah, and I think sometimes it's that observation of other people that makes you realize that the change has happened for you. So, you know, I've had a staff nurse working with me once who said, today we had a lot of students on the ward, and there were some lecturers also around, who used to do a day a week on our ward. And they were with the students, and I walked past them and I thought, look at them, they're in this protected bubble of learning. And I thought that's such an interesting phrase, that she had noticed that and thought, I used to have that, and I haven't got that anymore because I'm not a student. I'm a newly qualified person, and this different set of stuff is expected from me. And there's still a chance for me to learn, but I don't get that protected bubble anymore. And that's different. And that was her recognizing that that is different. And that's okay, because that's the road you step along, isn't it? But that's in a way what she was kind of missing a little bit.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if we all had a bit of protected time, even if it's just to learn one thing or to have a conversation where you're not interrupted? See, some of this is where the shift is. When you're a student, you can carry on and do your bits and bobs because most of the questions will be pointed at the registered nurse that you're with. And then as soon as you are that person, everything comes to you. So the level of interaction will increase because of that. But then you're open to all of the stress and all of the complaints and all of the queries and all of the thanks and all of the everything. And I think that's probably a big change as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I think in the first 6 months, if a newly qualified nurse can kind of learn a bit about the team they're in, because I think that's one of the things, is thinking that you're going to slide straight into a team and the team is going to gel around you and it's all going to feel really gentle and lovely. And I think you're going to spend at least a month observing team dynamics and thinking, oh, what's my role within this, and what are the team dynamics like, and how have they come to be that, and what's the culture like here? It's fine to observe for a bit. You don't have to dive straight in, just see what you think of it. So that would certainly be something. And I think, another thing is it's ongoing learning and thinking about that as you've said, that learning to prioritize care, do effective handovers. If in 6 months you're standing back and thinking, yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable doing this kind of stuff, that's not bad.
Yeah. Do you know what? To anybody who's new or about to be new, you've got this. You will find your path. You will find your way. Your way might be different to other people, and that is fine. It might take you longer to do something than somebody else, and that's okay too, because it's all about the learning and what you take from it and how you grow. And you will all grow into your roles and you will all find your feet. It's just different for everybody, isn't it?
It is. And I think the key things are, most of the care arenas we work in our 24/7 care. This comes up a lot. People feeling this really strong responsibility for the shift that they're in, but you've got people to hand over to, and I know we've mentioned it before. So, the idea of coming away and realising and working within 24/7 care, realising it's not just you. And I suppose the last thing I just want to say, Kate, was just thinking about your own well-being. So after 6 months, new in role, if one of the things you really understand now is how to work with yourself on your well-being so that you can do this complex job with all its competing priorities and be okay, I think just find the things that make you feel okay. How to switch off, all the kind of things that we would say, Kate, which are the things that will help you with your well-being.
No, I think that's a perfect way to finish, Tina, isn't it?
Tis.
Oh. And on that note,
I've
I'm
been
Kate.
Tina.
And you have been listening to A Nurse's Lift to Work.
You've been listening to A Nurse's Lift to Work with Kate and Tina. Please remember, this is not a replacement for medical treatment or help, so do seek assistance if you need to.
Thank you for joining us. Please do like, subscribe, give us stars, like and share with your friends and colleagues. All the good things.